Geely. To most, they're the owners of Volvo, Polestar and Lotus. But do you know anything at all about the cars they actually make for themselves? Well, step back, because you might just want to. This is Inside China Auto, and this is the Geely Galaxy E8. That's right, this is the E8, the first fully electric car from Geely's new Galaxy sub-brand. The clue is in the E, that stands for fully electric. And what a stunning car this is. I mean, it should be, because it's based on the Galaxy Light concept from last year's Shanghai Auto Show. Maybe not quite as stunning as that, but nevertheless, very eye-catching. It's also a very big car. It's 4 centimeters longer than a Tesla Model S, nudging just over 5 meters in length. Now, if you think this car looks rather slippery, you'd be right. It's got a drag coefficient of just 0.199 CD, meaning it drops in just behind the world's most aerodynamic production car, the stunning Ion Hyper GT that we drove last year. And I think both of these two cars are going to be competing pretty ferociously in the Chinese car market because they're similar cars at a similar price point. But the E8 has something that the Ion Hyper GT does not, which is the option of a dual motor version. And that dual motor version has some pretty fiery acceleration. 0 to 62 miles per hour in just 3.49 seconds. That is faster than some versions of the Taycan in a Geely. I know, right? But the E8 is so much more than that. You see, this car is built on Geely's SEA platform, which underpins some Volvos, some Polestars, and all models in the Zeekr range. It's a seriously premium platform designed by former Volvo and Saab man Kent Bevelen. So having it under this is major, not least because this flagship version uses an 800-volt system. All other versions of the car use a 400-volt system. That means that the flagship version of the E8 gets up to 360 kilowatts of fast charging, which is basically 111 miles in just 5 minutes, which is really impressive. And that sleek aerodynamic shape also helps to make this car very efficient. It consumes just 13.8 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, which means that our 75.6 kilowatt hour battery will give you up to 385 miles of range, albeit on the CLTC cycle. So just that for about 20 to 25%, but nevertheless, still very impressive. Rear-wheel drive versions of this car will give you 150 kilowatts of fast charging. The smaller one will get you up to 341 miles of range, and the long-range version will get you to 413 miles of range, again on the CLTC cycle. But this car is not just efficient, it can also be really smart as well. There's a single motor version of this car called the Smart Driving version. That one comes with a LiDAR unit up here above the windscreen. And you also get satellite connectivity to Geely's 11 satellites up in space, which give you sub-meter precision positioning. That should make for a pretty good ADAS package. We don't have it on our car today, but nevertheless, satellite connectivity coming to cars. What is the world coming to? But I just want to finish off the outside of this car because we've got some real treats for you inside this car. You do get some versions where you get this kind of lighting in the grille there. That looks quite nice, quite rhythmic and stylish. Of course, you get a lot of daytime running lights around here. Anyway, it's very, very stylish, attractive car, this, especially compared to previous Geely models. As you can see, it is super sleek, nice bit of sculpting down the side, huge panoramic roof on this car, and that slopes down to a really stylish rear here, very sleek looking car. Quite attractive lights here, daytime running lights with little details in there, split up by the Geely logo there in the middle. Nice silver elements down here to look a bit sporty, and an electric tailgate on this car as well. 465 litres, very good sized boot in this, really deep, quite tall, extra space under the floor as well. We get 40/60 folding rear seats, and for frunk enthusiasts we get a 53 litre frunk on the single motor versions of this car and a 30 litre frunk on our dual motor version. Really stylish car. Outside looks amazing, but wait till you get inside. Just look at that. That is a 45-inch 8K screen spreading from one side of the cabin to the other. Whether you are a big fan of screens in cars or not, it is hard to deny that it does look really impressive, and it does actually make the cabin feel really open and spacious. And yeah, it's just an incredible screen. In reality, it is a full 45-inch screen, but it's split into 3 separate zones that you can work with. So this one, of course, is your driver's side zone, just your usual features on there. This one's a center screen. You get a toolbar here for your central controls, also a toolbar on the right side for passengers. They can of course watch videos and things and do KTV and also play video games and stuff like that. They also get some little customizable widgets down there at the bottom. They can choose whichever ones they want for their quick options on there. In the central screen, we have the same thing. Again, a load of apps on here. You've got your maps as a direct button on there. You can also flick your maps over onto this screen as well, so you can actually see it directly in front of you. So that's really cool. As I said, it's quite a simple system. So if we go into the car menu here, actually quite a filtered down system. A lot of car companies really overdo this. There are way too many options in there. Geely have kept this nice and simple, not too many things going on. But we also get the same customizable widgets down here. Anyway, as I mentioned, it is a very impressive screen, and it does come with 8295 Snapdragon processor. That is the fastest processor on the market at the moment. Why do you need a fast processor? Well, you know, it is pretty graphics heavy, of course, because it looks quite nice. You can turn around here, you can press the front of the car there, choose your lights. You can also open the trunk. You can make little sounds outside the car, things like that. But let's go into this little option here and click on this one. This is Asphalt 9. It is a video game, very incredibly high resolution. I'm going to turn that volume down a little bit so that you can still hear me. Let me click on there. Look at this. That is a Ferrari F8 Tributo, and the graphics on it are quite incredible. Let me quickly show you what the gameplay looks like on this. You can go on quick race. You can play 2 players, so I can play up against somebody on the passenger side if I want to. Let's go for full screen single player for now. Choose your driving mode, how you want to race. Let's just pick a track. Let's go for Ranchville. Click on there and click play. And as we get into the game, let's go for the LaFerrari Aperta there. Very nice looking car. Reminds you what the controls are. You can also have, I've got this in English, as you can see. You can actually do it in English as well as Chinese. That suggests to me this car may well be going abroad, but you can see it actually loads fairly quickly. So at the minute we're just kind of in the loading screen, show you the track over there. Here's some extra graphics. This is really nice, really impressive. Now it's a simple controls, it's a bit like Need for Speed. So you click things on the screen, the car will drive for itself. You get the brakes and the nitrous, and here you go, you see, you can drive like that. Drive through all the nitro options, click your nitro button, make us go a bit faster. That Chiron's had a bit of a wipeout there. It's a little bit awkward, I have to say, playing on the middle of the screen here, because you're leaning out the way, but nevertheless, it is just mad. Absolutely crazy. This is incredible, the kind of things that you can have in cars these days. There are more video games in there. Let me just drag down from the top. Sorry, that's the wrong menu. Let's drag up from the bottom. There we go. Go back to the main menu. But that is a cool thing. So if you're charging and you're bored, play a video game, either by yourself or with your passenger. Absolutely nuts. So while the screen is really big, honestly, it does make the car feel a lot more spacious. It is a big car, so we've got a lot of space in here, but it does feel really airy and nice in here. Helped, of course, by this light coloured trim. We get lovely soft leather up there on the dashboard, inside the doors and across these soft touch surfaces here. Microfiber up on the roof. We get soft rubbery materials on the upper surfaces and this sort of light ash wood fake, well, it's fake ash wood, but it's plastic on here. Looks, again, really quite attractive. Feels quite premium. There's a little crystal knob here for controlling some things on the screen, a bit of physical switchgear, and your drive selector on there. Concealed space there, a little pocket at the back and some cup holders. We get a 50-watt wireless fast charger here with ventilation as well. Good. USB-C, USB-A sockets, twin hinge central cubby, more space under the dashboard, a glove box, and big door pockets as well. We also get a 12-speaker Harman Infinity sound system. Big speaker up there at the back of the dashboard. Really interesting UFO-shaped speakers here, either side of the dashboard. 2 big ones down in the doors, and we also get a pair in our headrest here as well. We also get a 25.6-inch augmented reality heads-up display as well, just in case you didn't have enough screens in this car already. So it does feel really high-end. It feels really attractive. It feels very spacious. The seats, very comfortable. They're 4D zero pressure seats, as they call them. They are actually quite lovely. No base cushion adjustment on this, but on the flagship version you do get heating, ventilation and massage. Because it's a low car and it's a battery car, you do have to kind of put the seat as low as it'll go, put your backrest back a little bit and tilt the base cushion up just to get yourself a really good driving position. But overall it's very nice, and visibility is pretty good in this car as well. One other thing, I do really like these sort of sunglasses style sun visors here, so you can still see through them rather than just blocking out your view entirely. They're quite cool. So it's a really, really lovely cabin. As I said, if the front seat is in the lowest setting, we do get a little bit of compromise, particularly on foot space down there. Not so easy to get your feet underneath, but overall, plenty of space, large knee room there. Could do with maybe a little bit more angle on this base cushion just to give you more support under your thighs. Headroom is a little bit tight. Doesn't exactly feel so though, because we've got probably the biggest panoramic roof I've ever seen on a car. It's literally glass from front to back. It's massive. But it's tinted, which is good, so it does keep out the sunlight, even though it's a bloody freezing day, so we don't necessarily need to keep the heat out today. Overall, the feeling is really premium. Just lovely materials, soft materials, absolutely everywhere. Inside the doors, twin cup holders there, vents and USB-C sockets. You also get a couple more cup holders in here if you want them. And for the first time ever in an Inside China Auto video, because our family situation changed over the winter, I'm going to show you how easy it is to fit a large car seat, large baby seat, in the back of this car as well. First impressions are, it's quite low down. Bit of work on my back here. The height of the door isn't the largest in the world. I'm going to have to get it through these little pockets here, which are not the easiest things in the world to get it into. So let's see how we go. Slide the seat in this way, like that. If you're thinking of having kids, do think about your car seat. Think about how easy or difficult it might be to try and make it work. There we go. Oh, that was a lot harder work than I thought it was going to be. But the good thing is, good thing is this seat's rotatable, so the seat rotates right like that. But that was not the easiest thing in the world. I would like the Isofix mountings to be a little bit more visible than that. I'm going to give it 3 out of 10. Never mind. Now, anybody who's driven a car on the SEA platform will probably tell you how assured and accomplished that chassis is. Really impressive for me in terms of ride quality and also actual dynamism. They're really fun cars to drive with brilliant ride quality. I first noticed it when I drove the Smart #1 on SEA 2. The Zeekr X is also on the same platform. The Zeekr 001, which is on SEA 1, also has really good ride quality, whether it's these little fine high frequency bumps that usually disturb your driving or larger, more aggressive bumps. This chassis soaks them all up really well. And you don't need air suspension, don't need anything fancy like that. You don't need little scanners checking the road and making sure your suspension's at the right level all the time. It's a really, really accomplished, enjoyable drive every time you drive it. And I'm really, really enjoying this one. It's also a really fun car to drive as well. We've got the steering set up on this one to weight up based on the speed of the car, and it does a brilliant job of it. Yes, it's not as precise or as pinpoint accurate as maybe a BMW steering, but the weighting is really good. If you're an everyday driver, which let's be honest, most people are, you just want a car that has, a little bit of feel to it, feels a little bit sporty, a little bit, enjoyable. This car does it better than probably most of the Chinese cars that I've driven. I'm really enjoying the amount of weight on the steering here. And because we've got the rear motor version of this car as well, we can also have a little bit of fun just by sticking our foot down every now and then and just getting the back end just to shake a little bit. It doesn't shake much, it grabs hold of it every single time, but it's very, very pleasant and a lot of fun to drive. This car can do the L test at 82 kilometers per hour. So that's pretty much up there with the standard bearers, I would say, on the Elk test. As I said, it's a rear-wheel drive car, so we have a single motor on ours. It's a 200 kilowatt motor, 268 horsepower, 343 newton meters of torque. I'm going to say today, I don't think any car other than a hypercar or a supercar needs more than a 200 kilowatt motor. Even big cars like this one, more than 5 meters, that 200 kilowatt motor absolutely swallows up everything you need. The car has all the acceleration and speed and responsiveness that you will ever need in a car. You don't need more than that. You don't need dual motors. Of course, if you want dual motors, or if you want all-wheel drive, which you may want to have, then you can get that on this car. That's the one with the rapid acceleration, the flagship version. That comes with a 165 kilowatt motor on the front, 310 on the back, which is the most I think has been put on a single axle on the SEA platform, because the Zeekr 001 had 200 kilowatts on both. So 475 kilowatts in total, 710 newton meters of torque. That's more than 600 horsepower. That is lightning quick. And as I said, you don't need it, but if you want all-wheel drive, if you really want a performance car, If you really want a performance Geely, you can have a car that basically comes with supercar levels of power. It's absolutely ridiculous. And yet, you don't have to pay supercar money to get that car. Do you want to know why? This car starts at just 175,800 RMB. That's under £20,000, under $25,000 for the single motor version, base spec, which still comes with this big 45-inch screen, a lot of tech, same 200 kilowatt motor, only difference is a 62 kilowatt hour battery, which is 341 miles of range on CLTC. Absolute bargain. If you want to step it up and get the same version we have today with the bigger battery, 76 kilowatt hours, and a bit more bits of tech on it, 198,800 RMB, that's under £22,000, $28,000. And then of course, if you really do want that supercar baiting twin motor, 600 horsepower plus version of this car, that will cost you just 228,000 RMB. That is £25,000, $32,000, which is absolutely outrageous. And yes, before you say it, you're shouting at the video, those are China prices. Tell me, if you paid twice the price for this car, would you be upset? With 600 horsepower, with a 45-inch 8K screen, heads-up display, 20-inch wheels, full panoramic glass sunroof? I don't think you would. This car feels every bit as well screwed together as any Mercedes or any BMW that I've ever sat in. It feels pretty much as luxurious. It's got soft touch materials everywhere, everything's electric. The screen does a lot of cool things in there as well. You know, twice the price, this car would still be worth it. The Europeans should be pretty glad that Geely are not yet selling this car abroad. If they start to, watch your backs, because it's going to start eating your lunch, no problems. It is a big car. It's 5.01 meters long, 1.92 meters wide, 1.465 meters tall, and has a wheelbase of 2.925 meters. It's a big car with a lot of tech. It feels great, and it's a bloody bargain. So the E8 really is taking Geely into a new galaxy. Apologies for the pun, but seriously, Geely is a mainstream brand. They do not do premium, they haven't done premium before. They have premium brands, but the Geely brand, this is not where they sit. And yet, this car feels every bit as big, as plush, as premium as those big luxury German brands whose names you will remember. This car has all the tech that you need. It's got the LiDAR, the 45-inch HD screen. It's got the satellite connectivity if you want it. It's got great performance in single or dual motor form, and it's got a brilliant chassis that deserves to be and is under more expensive cars than this. Yet this is a snip on the price tag of most of those cars. It's a brilliant car. It's impressed me far more than I expected it to. And I think it looks pretty decent as well. Thank you very much for watching. If you do, thank you for subscribing. We'll catch you next time.